lot going on in Dallas as well. Schefter has everything we need to know.
Micah Parsons back for the first time in over a month. They will have their best defensive player. He's been battling a high ankle sprain. He has not played since they beat the New York Giants in a Thursday night game. The defense clearly has missed Parsons, but he will be back out there today. And oh, by the way, this past week, Jerry Jones said the team never considered trading Micah Parsons before the trade deadline. Dak Prescott not playing today, and the chances are he's done for the season. He's flying to New York this week to visit a specialist to get a second opinion. That already has been recommended that he undergo surgery on his partially torn hamstring. That would end his season and sideline him for 4 months. So it looks like Dak will be done, and Dallas will have to get used to life without Dak Prescott starting today. And the man that will replace him in the starting lineup is Cooper Rush, who replaced Dak the last time and led them to a 5-1 record the last time as well. The Cowboys believe, right or wrong, that they'll be able to run the same offense with Cooper Rush that they would with Dak Prescott, and they may sprinkle in a package or two with Trey Lance as well, but it'll be a new quarterback combination with Dak likely done for the season.
Respectfully, running the same offense, they may not be making the point they think they're making, because candidly, that offense has really struggled all year with Dak Prescott, and now they lose their star quarterback. They've lost 3 straight. They're 3-5, and they have cap issues to deal with going forward. So, Tedy, I would ask the question this way. This iteration of the Dallas Cowboys, as we have known them the last few years, and they've been contenders, they've won a lot of games. Do you believe this group is over and it's time to start over?
Well, what we know from them is a team that wins 12 regular season games the last couple of years. They make a little playoff push, but they really can't get far. But it's just so the window closes quickly in the NFL. I think we all know that, and it is definitely closed for the Dallas Cowboys. This version of them. We are now in a place where, with Cooper Rush as the quarterback, we are talking about, you got to see what Trey Lance has as at the quarterback position, because, I mean, what can you really, I mean, Micah's coming back, all right, but the defense, I don't know how impactful he can be on a unit that needs so many different parts. The defining characteristic for me, for the Dallas Cowboys, especially offensively in the past, like we're talking about, is a solid offensive line. They can't block anymore, okay? Zach Martin isn't the same that I've seen on film. That block he missed on the screen pass versus the Falcons last week was bad. I have not seen an offensive line in Dallas that's been what I'm used to seeing too, and that's where it all starts. So Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott, whoever you got back there, if you can't block, it's over for this team offensively.
Well, you know who it's going to be over for, unfortunately, I think is going to be Mike McCarthy. And to me, this is an outstanding football coach. So if you fire him, you're letting an outstanding coach go. And to me, it's like you lose your quarterback. You've had Micah Parsons on the shelf for a month. You've had all kind of situations that are basically out of your control. And he's unfortunately probably going to end up being the fall guy. They can't cut all the players. So what happens? You end up firing the coach. And I think, I'm just saying, Mike McCarthy's a damn good football coach. You're going to let him go.
Well, you're talking about how good of a coach he is, but I'm sitting there looking at an offense that broke all these records last year, come back with the same players, and don't seem to get things right. So I don't know where the great coaching that you see, maybe I'm missing something here. But when I look at this game, I think for me, you talked about Cooper Rush. I look at this game of Cooper Rush being able to get other guys involved other than CD Lamb. When he came in last week, he showed some signs of that. So, and I think the CD was maybe nursing a shoulder too. So I'm just anxious to see. And then also in a game like this, and I know we're having a discussion later on, we're sitting up here talking about Parsons. And I talked about him in the opening kicks. If there's anybody that's going to energize this stadium, and it's a home game, the fan base, the team, Jerry Jones, they have missed the dominance of one of the best all-around pass rushers in all of football. Yeah, you heard me sitting up here talking about the Tasmanian Devil, and the reason why, y'all know when the Tasmanian Devil gets to spinning, he goes any and everywhere, and that's what I want to see Parsons. Sometimes he's lined up over the center. Sometimes he's out wide. I don't care where you line him up, Zimmer. We need a dominating all-pro performance from Micah Parsons.
Will he ever even get the chance to rush the passer is my only concern. So it's few and far between, because stopping the – I mean, this Eagle team team. I mean, that offensive line, they're just, I'll show you in film wall later what makes these guys so special, but they can run the rock in so many different ways, and they are a complete running football team. Micah, I don't know if he's enough as great as he is.
And you talk about running the rock, and the Eagles' offensive line went to Nick Sirianni during the bye and said, we need to run the football more. So you know they're going to do that, and they're going to run the football today more at a team that now is at something of a crossroads. We see Dallas' season slipping away. They're 3-5. If they don't win today, they'd be 3-6. Their quarterback is going to be, in all probability, done for the season. So when we talk about the changes, Mike McCarthy's contract is up.
Right.
Trey Lance and Cooper Rush, both on the last years of their contract. The running backs, every running back in the backfield on the last year of his deal. And when we talk about changes that could come, guess what? They already gave long-term deals to Dak and CD. The one player they haven't is Micah Parsons. And that's where it gets interesting. They said this week that they wouldn't trade him. But if they're going to shake things up, they're going to improve the offensive line, they're going to start getting younger, they're going to start saving cap space, where's that coming from? Where?
Could it be coming from a trade that I'm going to describe as either the Herschel Parsons trade or the Micah Walker trade? Either way you want. But once upon a time, this team built a dynasty by trading a great player in Herschel Walker, and they won 3 Super Bowls because of it. Is the idea that maybe during this offseason they trade Micah Parsons for a king's ransom? Is that so totally out of the question to you?
Not in my opinion. I think it must be considered. I mean, when you're talking about a team that I look at, and there are so many pieces that they need, there's only one way to do it, and it's through draft capital. Because if you've already paid so much to 2 pieces on your offense to get multiple number ones, and who knows what you can do with those number ones, or is it 2? No, I'd say 3 ones for Micah. I think I agree with you. He's that special. Okay, he's that special. You have to consider rebuilding your team somehow, some way.
And what makes of all those things that Sal's talking about, all those things Jayden Daniels, and what makes it even more impressive, look how little the Commanders are turning the ball over. Talking about their offense this season in turnovers. They have 3 turnovers, guys. That is the fewest by any team through their first 9 games of a season since turnovers were tracked in 1933. Look at all these zeros up here. All 3 turnovers in 2 games. By the way, they won those 2 games. Last 4 games, no turnovers for the Commanders offense. And what happens when you're not turning the ball over? You are scoring a ton of points. We're talking about the highest percent of drives scoring a touchdown or a field goal this season. The Commanders are at 61%. Look how much higher that is than the next closest team, the Ravens. That 61% on pace for the highest by any team in the last 40 seasons. That would surpass Patrick Mahomes and the 2018 Chiefs. They'll face a challenge today against the Steelers defense, allowing a score on the 3rd lowest rate. But what does Coach always say, guys? End a drive with a kick. It's a punt, it's a field goal, it's an extra point. That's what Jayden Daniels and the Commanders are doing.
And that is Evan Kaplan, our research producer extraordinaire, on just how historically efficient this Commanders offense has been. Randy, you made a great point at our meeting last night. So a lot of us, myself included, will look at this game. Jayden Daniels, what a test. He's got to go up against T.J. Watt. Now we're really going to see what he has. What do you think his mentality is?
Well, it kind of just reminds me of the guy in the next city over in Lamar Jackson. And I know Jayden Daniels said he wanted to make his own mark and become his own self in the National Football League. But I just remember some of those same things Lamar Jackson was saying in his early career. But this man has put the organization on his shoulders, just like Lamar did his.
And he's not the least bit concerned about who he's going up against, right?
No,
whether it's T.J. Watt or whoever.
No, he doesn't care. And the thing that I'm really impressed by this young man is really on 3rd down. 3rd down in red zone for me. 5th in the National Football League as a rookie. 5th in QBR on 3rd down. That's impressive to me, and what he's able to do with his legs and his arm. We talk about using your legs. We're talking about using your arms. He does both very well in the red zone. And you're talking about a guy named T.J. Watt and this Mike Tomlin defense. They have 5 takeaways in the red zone, and that's tied for first in the National Football League. So at the beginning of the show, we were talking about T.J. Watt, Jayden Daniels. Something has to give, and it's in the red zone for me, because out of those 5 takeaways, T.J. Watt has 3 strip sacks. So that quarterback holding that ball, patting that ball down in the red zone, look out for that today. If they're playing a lot of zone, he could possibly be patting that ball, Greeny.
So if there's one thing I have learned, Schefter, over the time I've now been on the show, is that Tedy does not fall in love easily. He's the opposite of me. I see somebody plays a great game one week, and I decide they're going to be the greatest player that ever lived. Tedy, you're maybe the last person I know who is ready to jump on with both feet on this Commanders bandwagon.
Okay, are we talking about the Washington Commanders
Yes.
or Jayden Daniels?
No, the Commanders. I get it. Daniels, I know you love, but the Commanders.
I can't say enough good things. Just like you said, buddy, about Jayden Daniels. Let's pump the brakes on this team, because I'm only looking at teams in terms of down the road who's going to be able to win 3 to 4 playoff games in a row to win championships. They have too much glaring problems. They can't stop the run defensively, okay? They're allowing 5 yards a pop. 5 yards a pop, okay? The run defense isn't very good. The red area defense isn't very good. When they get to the red zone offensively, they also have struggles. These are things, to me, this offense is a 20-20 offense. That's what it is right now in Washington. They are one. Tyreek Stevenson, do your job, okay? Prevent the Hail Mary pass in Chicago, and that's a loss. So all I'm saying is I'm looking forward to this game. This is a real team. I think that the tests are everywhere when you play the Pittsburgh Steelers. The deep ball threat from Russell, okay? The defense that hasn't allowed a point in the third quarter. Okay, it's one of the best red area defenses in the league. They can stop the run. They can run the football effectively. So today is a measuring stick for me. This is very big in terms of how I look at the Commander team. Not Jayden Daniels, but this team of the Washington Commanders.
Go back 1 year, and the Commanders were one of the worst, if not the worst, teams in football. So the fact that we're even having this conversation is a testament to what the quarterback has done and how he has uplifted the entire franchise.
Yes.
They are not a great team. They are a flawed team with a lot of holes. It's why there is a new front office, why there is a new coaching staff, and why they all know it's going to take time for them to do what they want, which is what makes what Jayden Daniels is doing now even more remarkable, because he's all poised about everything, even after the Hail Mary, in the locker room after the game. Everybody's jumping around celebrating. And there, sitting in his locker, like he expected the whole thing the whole time, is Jayden Daniels sitting there.
Or he probably thinks they never should have been there in the first place.
I got to tell you this. So talking to Anthony Lynn, my good friend, the assistant head coach there, I go, how good is this Jayden Daniels? He goes, well, let's put it this way, Rex. No offense to Mark Sanchez, but if we would have had him, we would have won 2 or 3 Super Bowls. Wow. That's what Anthony Lynn says about this young guy. I do have a concern, though, all right, because he runs so much, and we're going to see it today.
Yes.
He's not going to stand back there because T.J. Watt and company are going to be all over him. They can't block this group. So he's going to be looking to just bail and run out of there. Mike Tomlin on the other side, Mike Tomlin's telling his guys, oh, by the way, as soon as that dude crosses the line of scrimmage, he's a running back. We are going to destroy this guy. Like, trust me, I know Mike Tomlin, very similar to somebody else I know. That's what I'd be telling my guys. Like, no, we're going to hit this dude. Sure. And it's not one hit that concerns me about taking him out. It's how many hits. You know, how many is this guy going to take? He's got, 9 more regular season games. That's my concern with this guy. He's incredible. But Washington, you're right. They're a year, 2 years ahead of where we all thought they would be.
I agree. Sure.
Just an amazing job by Dan Quinn and that staff. But this kid is so special. Yeah, please don't get him hurt.